In a world that moves fast, patience is a rare but powerful skill. It helps us make better decisions, stay calm in difficult times, and achieve long-term success. Every great achievement in history took time, just like a tree doesn't grow in a day. So embrace patience, trust the process, and your efforts will pay off.
Buddha and his disciples once embarked on a long journey. Exhausted from a long day of walking, they decided to stop and rest near a lake. Buddha asked his youngest and most impatient disciple to walk to the lake and bring him some water. So he did. But when he arrived at the lake, he saw a group of oxen crossing it, which muddied the water. The disciple thought to himself, "I can't bring this dirty water to Buddha." He returned and told Buddha about the water. Buddha said nothing until a few moments later, asking his disciple again to bring him some water from the lake. As expected, the water was still dirty. Later on, Buddha asked his disciple the same question again. Angrily and cursing, he went to the lake, expecting that the water was still dirty and undrinkable. But to his surprise, the water was crystal clear. The muddiness of the lake was only temporary. After a while, the mud settled and the water became clear again. The monk couldn't force the water to clear up, and there wasn't anything he could do to speed up the process. In all likelihood, any intervention would have made it worse. Psychiatrist and philosopher Viktor Frankl once stated, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." End quote. In the monk's case, he couldn't do anything about the muddiness of the lake or Buddha repeatedly asking to bring him some water. He wasn't able to change these circumstances, so the only thing the impatient monk could do was change his attitude towards these circumstances. As the muddy water would eventually clear up by itself, all he had to do was wait patiently for nature to play itself out, which was the lesson Buddha intended to teach. Patience would have saved the monk from the pain of anger and dissatisfaction.
The Wise Old Woman and the Impatient King. Once there was a king who got lost while traveling alone through a dense forest. As night began to fall, he climbed to the top of a hill and looked around hoping to find shelter. However, he saw no villages or people nearby. After some time, he noticed a faint light shining in the distance. Determined to find refuge, he walked toward the light and eventually reached a small hut. Inside the hut, he found an old woman who was busy tidying up. Seeing the weary traveler, she welcomed him warmly. Mistaking him for a soldier from the royal army, she offered him some water to drink. Noticing his exhaustion and hunger, she then served him a plate of rice and curry. The king, too hungry to wait, immediately grabbed the hot food and started eating in haste. The burning heat scalded his fingers, causing him to drop some rice on the floor. The old woman observed this and remarked, "Oh, you are too impatient. Just like our king, you have burnt your fingers and lost some of your food." "Curious," the king asked. "Why do you say our king is impatient?" The old woman sighed and explained, "Our king dreams of conquering vast empires, but he ignores the smaller ones. His impatience costs us dearly, as we lose many soldiers because he rushes into battle without first securing smaller victories. If only he started with the smaller kingdoms, he could strengthen his army and gain the power needed to conquer the larger ones." Impatience not only harms an individual, but can also lead to the loss of future opportunities. Hearing these words, the king realized the wisdom in her advice. Sometimes true success lies in patience and strategic planning. If someone is struggling with impatience, here are some pieces of advice that can help. 1. Shift your focus to the present. Impatience often comes from worrying about the future or feeling like things should happen right away. Focus on the present moment and take small steps toward your goal rather than rushing. You can remind yourself, what can I do today to move closer to where I want to be? 2. Set realistic expectations. Recognize that good things take time. Whether it's achieving a personal goal or reaching a milestone, remind yourself that everything has its own pace. Break your big goals into smaller, manageable tasks that you can focus on, so the process feels more achievable. 3. Practice patience in small ways. Start practicing patience in everyday situations. Whether it's waiting in line, dealing with a delayed bus, or making food, try to stay calm and collected. Over time, these small practices will help you build more patience. 4. Mindfulness and breathing techniques. Sometimes impatience arises from feeling anxious. Try deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness practices. Just stopping to breathe and reconnecting with yourself can help you regain a sense of calm and patience. 5. Reframe your thinking. Instead of seeing waiting as a frustrating experience, try to reframe it. For example, this is an opportunity for me to learn, grow, or relax. Changing the way you view waiting or delays can reduce frustration.